before the internet, before TV, before film, the powers that be knew more rudimentary ways of keeping the stranglehold of control. If an Egyptian priest wanted a city-state to produce more agriculture, they would use their advanced knowledge of meteorology, which the average citizen did not have, to say, if you do not produce more crops, the gods will be angry, and it will rain, flooding your homes. When the rain came, the priest knew it was coming, but the dogmatic citizen would say, maybe that priest is on to something. The gods must be mad at us. Produce more grain for the city-state. The Nag Hammadi Codices is a collection of early Christian Gnostic texts, mostly translated from Greek into Coptic, originally written between the 2nd and 4th centuries AD. They were found in December 1945 near the Egyptian city of Nag Hammadi. These codices have been rebranded as the Lost Gospels of Jesus and the Dead Sea Scrolls, but what they actually entail is essentially the Gospels as ignored by the Catholic Church. The pure, unadulterated story. Detailed within is the mechanisms by which the Archons are, in Gnosticism and religions closely related to it, the builders of the physical universe, deceive, manipulate, and pervert humanity. Under Gnostic doctrine, the world is essentially a dream, and you, the dreamer, have been given an ultimate gift, the creative imagination. However, the material rulers, an invisible order of malevolent forces, the Archons, attempt to prevent mankind from living in its pure state of creation, harmonic bliss, erotic freedom, and pure intention. The Archons function through simulacrum, through creation of a world that doesn't exist, to capture the creative imagination in its false walls. It makes more sense, then, that in a post-911 world, technology reigns, and people are increasingly living their lives inside their phones and computers. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. Ephesians 6:12. In this passage we see that the true enemies of the original Christian Church, or the avatar of spirituality for the age of Pisces, are the rulers, but the word is not ruler in the original Greek, but archon. And so it is that the forces of materialism are in truth the archons enslaving humanity into material production for the gain of wealth and power of the few over the many. That gnosis, personal knowledge of the universe and self, is the real purpose of our existences, and that this is obscured by the archons, perpetually and malevolently. In fact, the very seat of the soul is within the pineal gland in the brain. The melatonin secreted by this gland produces sleep cycles and the somnambulist state required for dreaming. Some scientists argue the gland produces DMT, giving the interior monologue a psychedelic property of creation. Gnosis is available through the pineal gland. It is this revelation that has caused powers that be of antiquity, such as the Catholic Church, to suppress and attempt to control gnosis to make materialist slaves out of humanity through false spiritual doctrine and dogma. Simply put, just as the Egyptian priest encouraged production with meteorological knowledge, so the Vatican encourages control of perception through belief in a mystical God who never returns, not during the Holocaust, 9/11, or when your grandma died. Vatican comes from Vaticano, which means divine snake. The religion of Catholicism is, at its root, an arcane snake religion, and has nothing to do with Jesus of Nazareth. Here we can see the Paul VI audience hall, which bears a marked and non-accidental resemblance to a viper. And here we see some Orthodox Catholic croziers that depict the snake motif, as carried by cardinals and popes alike. So, given these realities, we can negate the possibility that Catholic Jesus is the real Jesus at all, or that Catholicism, the dominant form of Christianity for thousands of years, has any basis in the original Gospels of a Palestinian Jewish reformer named Jesus. Even the title Christ has snake roots. Christos, in Greek is anointed, but anointed with what? With crocodile fat oil, as per what would go on with Egyptian priests near the Nile. Ergo, the whole Christ story is an Egyptian parable.